What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Lazarus, Episode 12. Now, this episode's titled Close to the Edge, which is an album by the progressive rock band Yes from 1972. So in this episode, Axel, who's injured, is taken to Millie's clinic, to recover, and basically he learns that the witness he was supposed to get is dead. Then Elena finds out, and basically she's being taken care of by Popcorn Wizard, whose real name is Lynn, and it's revealed that Lynn is from the Maldives, like on the island that Skinner bought. Basically, all the residents were suffering from analgesia. Basically, they can't feel pain, and so they were all poor. They couldn't leave the island, but Skinner bought it. Knowing that the island was going to sink into the ocean. And so Lynn tells Elena that Skinner's hiding in this homeless, camp in Babylonia City. And then Abel and Dr. 909 investigate Soryu. And then Abel is also able to convince the United States president to give an executive order to have the NSA raid INSCOM. Which Abel leads the team to raid there and then confront Snyder. Then Doug is in a Pakistani hospital. Basically, he's in the custody of all of the army, of all the agents, all the men who attacked him. So Elena and Lynn help him get out. Then basically, they go to Babylonia City. Then Axel, like when he's in the hospital, he tells Chris that he actually likes being in Lazarus because he spent most of his life without anybody, without it, because he lost a lot of his friends when he was a kid. So then Lazarus learns that Soryu, the assassin, is suffering from dissociative identity disorder since he was part of the Hundun program. And then when Axel recovers, um, he sees like some text, and then there's 1 day left, like until people are supposed to die. So yeah, I like this episode. It's a good penultimate episode. Obviously, they're setting up the end game, and yeah, I like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. The Water Magician, episode 1. So in this this episode, so this is a new anime that started today, and so this one basically, so this character named Rio has died, and and he's like reincarnated, and he's given like water magic and eternal youth. And basically, this episode is just showing him learning more about the new like high fantasy world that he's in. So like he talks to a dragon who's voiced by, I can't remember his name, but it basically, I think it's the same guy that voices Jiraiya in Naruto. Like has like that kind of like a little bit snarky wise guy voice. But yeah, so and then I mean yeah, it's just like an introduction. So like he and like it's just him out on this area. Like he has like, so there's like this house he finds that's like Tar has like, is he a meat freezer? So there's already food available for him. And then basically yeah, so I mean this is just an intro episode, so I mean I don't know what else. But then like something about like and so I guess like the eternal youth was like I guess a special trait or something. And then apparently it's been a few millennia since whoever it was that reincarnated him, Rio, like whoever the deity figure was. Last time I guess he saw that guy saw anyone who has a special ability. It was like 10,000 years ago. And then who knows? And then I'm assuming based on that discussion, that character, whoever that character is, will play a role. Maybe it's the who knows what it is. I haven't read the manga, so I don't know. Um, but yeah, I thought it was a good intro episode. It's not a lot. It's not like the greatest thing I've seen, but it's a good pilot. So I'm interested in this, and I'm looking forward to next week's episode. The Marshal King, Chapter 15. So in this chapter, Jimmu, so he's reached the top of that mountain where the badge is at, and basically, he realizes I guess over the course of the whole competition that he can't, his dream is to end the age of Desperados, but he knows now he can't do that on his own. So he like reseals you know, the the arms and Magnum, and he decides to the golden arms and Magnum, and he decides to like stay at the school because he says he wants to do all this with his friends, like with his classmates, and so everyone's happy to have him, have him back, and yeah, and basically, and the chapter ends with it saying like he'll reclaim the Magnum further down the road. So basically, they're staying at the school for which I like because I wanted to see more of the school because it did seem like this has been a little too soon to move on from the school stuff. I would like to see more. What type of school activities does this? Because like with My Hero Academia, you had your regular school events or school-ins, as some of the students call it. Then you have the superhero type events. Now, like, and with this series, there'll probably be some regular school events. Then there probably could be some like martial events, like specifically for the job of being a marshal. That would be fun to see. I want to see some of that, like them actually, a lot of the training, because really this is basically a training series. I mean, kind of like My Hero Academia. Like a lot of My Hero Academia was training. It was a bunch of training arcs because they're in the school. So this series, probably similar concept. There would be a lot of training arcs since they're in the school for marshals. But yeah, I really like this chapter. I'm glad the school's gonna stay a big part of this series. And it looks like this arc is probably over or about over. And looks like based on how the story progressed, this will probably be a long form series. Like this is a series that looks like it's gonna stay for a little while, and I'm happy for that because this is freaking awesome. It is a great manga. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Little Exorcist, chapter 159. So in this one, the Exorcists are, getting towards the final bridge, and they think that, the guardian for it will be Astaroth. And then they see Homer and Lucifer, talking, I guess like they'll do some ritual or something, and then they escape. Then basically, so then Arthur A. Angel wants to fight Lucifer, and then Lightning gets in his way, to like basically tell him no. Like the reason is because of Arthur being a clone of Lucifer, being a survivor from Section 13, being one of those who survived the Blue Night, and say basically Lightning doesn't want Arthur to fight Lucifer because there'd be a risk of him becoming a vessel of Lucifer. Since Lucifer is weakened, he's in need of a new vessel. So like if he possesses Arthur, that causes a lot of problems because he would basically be at full power. Now that would set up a big fight between I guess Lucifer and Rin, and basically I guess to be kind of like what Black Clover's doing right now with Julius Novachrono and you know Lucius Zokrates, and you know basically so basically we have like a fight where like the main character fights like the top ranked you know wizard, or in this series' case Exorcist, and basically beating the character would being said top you know Exorcist would basically get Rin like the title of Paladin. I mean, that's essentially what I like. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. And so basically, we're starting a fight between Lightning and Arthur. And yeah, my prediction, I think Lightning's losing. I think Arthur's going to beat Lightning and fight Lucifer and lose and get possessed by Lucifer, turned into a vessel, all powerful vessel. We're going to see like basically Lucifer start wrecking people, then Rin's gonna have to fight him. Use like the power, like the Satan power inside of him, in order to defeat Lucifer, and prove himself to everyone and become Paladin. No, I mean that's what I think is about to happen, just based on what's going on, and so it means we are definitely approaching the end game. Now this is a monthly series, so there's not as much going on with it. So like a lot, it's hard to remember a lot of it, and it's like okay, let's move along so that we can, one get another anime season. Because I think kind of why I think Blue Exorcist show waited to do this the last season. It should have waited a little longer to give the manga time to catch up, like just to get ahead, basically do because they basically waited a little bit, so they did like 3 seasons. But then like so yeah, I recall they did like 3 seasons, so they should, in my opinion, they should have waited a little bit, and then you know, and once they waited, then okay, then the manga probably would have been done. But if they wait like done each season, like give it a year, like between each season, then I think the manga would have been done and have plenty of time to adapt. But we're probably gonna be waiting for a while with Blue Exorcist. Same there, with like Bungo Stray Dogs, how that series is done. Or I think with that one, I think they aired like the actual the ending to that arc, the like the vampire invasion, whatever. I think they aired the anime ending for that before the manga chapter released, ending it. But yeah, but overall, I like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. L Teacher Jigoku Sensei Nube, episodes 1 and 2. So this is a 2025 remake of an older anime. And so basically, first episode, Noob meets all his students, and basically he's an exorcist as well as a teacher. So he has like this demon arm that allows him to exorcise demons. And so the two main students that Noob like deals with is Hiroshi Tatano and Kyoko Inaba. Now Kyoko had met Noob previously. I guess he had saved her in the past. And Hiroshi doesn't like dealing with paranormal stuff. he's offended by it, and then basically now why he's called Noob, I don't necessarily know why. I mean, his real name is Meisuke uh, Noeno, and so I don't necessarily know why he's called Noob. I've never read the manga. And so basically, so first episode, there's like this like demon that's it's causing Hiroshi to go mad, like to basically get angry randomly. Basically, hurt send his father to the hospital, injured Kyoko, sent her to the hospital for a brief period of time, and then causing them to attack like people during soccer practice. Yeah, but Noob's able to save it. Basically, there's like this giant demon that's like inside, like especially when there's like this, it's like a was it a tantrum thing that was inside baby. It's like a tantrum demon where it gets from like Noob takes out a baby, but it gets inside of Hiroshi. He turns like a monster type thing, but Noob's able to save him. And then, but then he's kidnapped by this like fox demon, like yeah, and basically that like try and like does this like all these illusions. It makes it look like Hiroshi's died at one point. Like it's freaking kind of messed up. And then basically, what happened, then this, fox demon's name is Tabamo. And then and basically, Dude wins. And then I guess Tomo says they'll see each other again. And I guess, that's it. So yeah, I like these two episodes. I thought they were good. I'm interested in what's going on in the series. I've never read the manga or seen the original anime, but yeah, I really like these two episodes, and I look forward to the next one. Ironheart episodes 4 through 6 and full series. So in this one, these episodes, Riri has the hood fragment analyzed. Basically there's like of course an energy source there involving their dimension. And then Xavier, Natalie's brother, sees the Natalie AI and is not happy about it. It says delete it, which I agree. Natalie's offended and leaves when Riri considers deleting it. And so, yeah, and then Zeke has been arrested for the heist at the crew had done because of the mesh that was left behind. He's not happy with Riri about it. And then Ronnie, Riri's mother, takes Riri to her friend Madeline Stanton, who is a former trainee at Kamar Taj, where Stephen Strange trained, and Madeline's daughter Zelma. And then basically, try and they think it's Dormammu. They think it's Dormammu that's influencing the hood, and then basically so and then the hood breaks Zeke out of jail and hires him to basically replace Riri. Then they do a bunch of bionic enhancements to Zeke's body, but the hood's given control over Zeke's body. Then the crew is sent after Riri to kill her. You know Riri's suit is stolen. You know, and then basically and Riri tells like Slug that tells Clown that the Hood killed Clark, and Natalie uses the suit to help Riri escape. And then Natalie just turned herself off. And, Zeke attacks Riri, but he defeats Riri, but he spares her. Tells her to leave the city. Riri talks to her mother. Ronnie asks her why she's obsessed with her suit, and Riri says, first she says, oh, I did it because I could. Then Ronnie's like, okay, cut the crap, tell me what it is. And Riri says, this suit could have saved Natalie and Gary when they were killed. Well, and basically it's like the suit that could have saved them when they like, which maybe Riri should have actually said that, instead of coming off like a cunt by saying, "Oh, I just could." I mean, she comes off like a cunt doing that. I mean, then Zeke and Clown lie to the Hood about Riri being dead, and Zeke says he doesn't want to join the crew. And then basically the crew learns that the autopsy for Clark was fabricated, and they confront the Hood about it, and then the Hood fires everyone. And he's corrupted more by his Hood's magic. Then the Hood forces Zeke to help him break into like his father's house. So the Hood's father is Arthur Robbins. He's the CEO of Artworks, basically, and Robbins has a controlling interest in all the companies that the Hood has been stealing from. Now Arthur at first refuses to sign the contracts, giving the Hood all the all the all of his money. Basically, but the Hood basically forces him to do it. And basically like the Hood was abandoned as a kid, and Arthur like basically this is him in the Hood's eyes paying comeuppance. And so Riri starts working on the new suit. Then basically Zelma, empowers it with magic in order to help counteract, the Hood's powers. But Natalie is deleted because of that. And then and basically then so Riri then fights Zeke, and basically like Riri's able to beat him, and he's able to I guess reboot himself and break free of the Hood's control. And Riri goes after the Hood, asking for his hood, and Riri removes the Hood's hood, and basically and she just leaves and meets Mephisto. And Mephisto revives Natalie in exchange for Riri selling her soul, which she does on the condition Mephisto leaves her her friends and family alone, which Mephisto agrees to because Mephisto's a demon. He makes deals. Like generally, he doesn't journal if he going after loved ones. Like he'll do that times. He's freaking evil. He's a demon. Of course, he's evil. A lot of times when he does that, it can be because if you break the deal, he's gonna go after people. Like you know. Now, of course, you have with Giant Blaze, his the deal that Giant Blaze made with him, the adoptive father in the comics that Giant Blaze was trying to save. Um, yeah, I believe it was adoptive father in the comics. It was in the movie, of course, it was his biological father. But the father that Giant Blaze wanted to save, of course, died very shortly after the deal. He made that deal with Mephisto because basically Giant Blaze's father had cancer or something. Basically the deal was made to save him from that. Now that deal had no effect on anything that happened after, so the die later. And, that's why Giant Blaze was pissed off. He's like, "What the frick? Why did he die?" Well, I was like, "Well, the deal didn't apply to this, so sorry." So of course we'll do how much of that was actually Mephisto like killing them after that, or whether that was just something he just let happen. So Riri sells her soul, and the Hood asks Zelma for help, and Natalie's actually revived, like not an AI, but actually alive. Yeah, I'm wondering how is Zayra gonna react to that? Cause he didn't react so well with the AI. How is he gonna react when he learns that yeah, Riri sold her soul to a literal demon to for that. I mean, yeah, I didn't like these 3 episodes. They're awful. The acting's terrible. The writing sucks. The pacing's off. But yeah, I this was these were bad 3 episodes. As far as this show, it's freaking terrible. The whole Obadiah Stane plot point, like it's worthless. Like I feel like Zeke wasn't relevant enough for that to be a useful plot point. The Hood was not a compelling villain. Like Riri was a better villain than the Hood because Riri was a villain. Guess yeah, and that's fact. This is a villain or if they had leaned to the more the fact that this was a villain origin story, actually made it like a villain story, they could have done a better show. No, also now we know they ain't gonna do that because the whole sympathetic villain thing, which is one of the most retarded things. Like there should not be sympathetic villains. You can have tragic villains, but there's a difference between sympathetic villain and tragic villains. Now, both have bad stuff happen to them that leads them to becoming evil. That's what sympathetic villains and tragic villains have in common. Here's where they differ. For tragic villains, the story does not excuse their evil actions, whereas sympathetic villains, the story does excuse their actions. Unfortunately for all the villains in this show tries to like excuse everyone's actions. And so Riri is basically left off the hook. She should be in jail. She should be in the prison. She should be in the raft. Actually, in the raft now, since she has like some form of what, I don't know, demon powers or something. Like she should be in prison. Like at minimum in prison. Like they're like man, the fact that no one went to prison for anything. Like the hood's out, the entire crew's out. Like what the frick? What's this? Like, does seriously no one like call the cops? Like, does no one really? Is there no consequences for anything? And what is this Mephisto plot point gonna do? What is it actually gonna do? Is it actually gonna lead to something? I mean, because the only thing you could really do is if it tied into like Mephisto gained the souls of people. So maybe I don't know, let's say like Doctor Doom and Doomsday made a deal with Mephisto in order to take over other like universes, and that's supposed to tie, I guess, Ironheart to the Tony Stark Doctor Doom in order to, and basically that makes Mephisto like an overall big bad, and there's something involving like Beyonder and Secret Wars because Beyonder, I believe, what has been confirmed to be in Secret Wars. Which they should. You should have Beyonder anyway, but yeah, this show it freaking sucks. It's a villain story that's trying to be a hero story. It's terrible. It's crap. The acting is terrible. The writing is terrible. Like like the, like no one does a good acting job at this. Like no one does. I mean, like Alden Ehreich, or like however his last name is pronounced, like he does the best acting job, as Zeke Stain, but it's like he's not like as relevant as he should be based on how like the whole deal of him being Obadiah's son. But yeah, I didn't like this show. It sucked. You know, yeah, it's freaking terrible. Jurassic World Rebirth. So in this movie, this starts, with the prologue, so 17 years before the main events of the film in 2010, so 9 years after Jurassic Park 3, and 5 years before Jurassic World. There's like this secret lab uh, that Engine runs that on the island of Ile St. Hubert in the Atlantic. Basically, it's creating like transgenic genetic mutated dinosaurs. And there's like a containment issue caused by a Snickers bar wrapper. I'm not kidding. A Snickers bar wrapper gets sucked into a vent and it destroys the entire containment, causing this mutated dinosaur called the Distortus Rex, which looks like honestly, it kind of looks like a giant xenomorph. Like it's well, it looks like a xenomorph kind of, and basically starts killing a bunch of people, and then so then this picks up 5 years after Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Dominion. Basically, the way the environment on the planet is, it's mostly in the spot inhospitable for dinosaurs, and basically they're contained like on some islands near the equator, where like the environment near the equator, is hospitable enough for them to live in. So humanity is kind of starting to return to normal. Yeah, so then there's this mercenary named Zora Bennett, you know basically ex-military, covert operative. She's recruited by this guy named Martin Krebs of Parkergenics, which is a pharmaceutical company, and basically she works. So he hires her to like take steal samples of different dinosaurs on you know Il Ile Saint Hubert, Hubert, and basically, and so she works with a paleontologist named Dr. Henry Loomis, who he's he's a civilian, but he's brought in because he'd be able to identify all the dinosaurs. Then basically they meet up with Zora's old friend Duncan Kincaid, to since he has the ship to guide him there. And basically a bunch of other crew members join, and then basically they head towards like start heading towards the island, and then so the first creature they're starting to search for is a Mosasaurus. With that, it's like a sea creature that is near the island, and on the way they get a distress call from a shipwreck. So basically, you have Ruben Delgado, his daughters Teresa and Isabella, and Teresa's boyfriend Xavier, who basically just acts retarded the entire time. Basically, there's some Spinosaurus. There's like the Mesosaurus, like basically capsizes their boat, and like so and Zora and Duncan, like they get the boat to that family in order to save them, despite the protests of basically a lot of the other people. And then basically they so the crew like saves the Delgados, and like the basically the father, like he gets the idea that they're in some that they came across some shady stuff when they get on the boat. So then the Spinosaurs and Mosasaurus, they attack. Zora's able to get a sample of the Mosasaurus, and then but then the dinosaur still attacks. So the ship is basically wrecked, and everyone jumps off the dinosaur. So one thing that happens is, Teresa tries to call for help with the ship's radio, but Martin stops her and lets her fall into the water to die. No, she lives. And basically, then she's pissed off about that. So in the Delgado, so Teresa's boyfriend jumps after her. Then, Ruben and Isabella jump in after them. Those four. Basically, there's like two stories that can go in this. We have the Delgados, then you have the Mercs. So by the time dust settles on the island, the only team members left are Martin, Zora, Duncan, and and Henry. So basically, then they go. So like the Delgados are trying to find this village where they can escape, and we see some of their struggles across that. And then we see the mercenaries trying to find the other dinosaurs. So they find the Titanosaurus, then the Quetzalcoatlus. Like so the Quetzalcoatlus one they have to use an egg due to that dinosaur being a flying one, so it'd be difficult to aim. So they're able to get the DNA, and everyone runs into each other at the extraction zone. But the Distoris Rex and a bunch of our dinosaurs attack. So they're all trying to avoid that. Where the Distoris Rex is big up to where when the helicopter that Zora called had arrives, the Distoris Rex eats the chopper. And then basically yeah, then they're attacked by these things called Budodons, which are like a mix between a raptor and pterosaur. And then basically, they're able to, and so Duncan leads the D Rex away. Once everyone gets to the thing. Now, one happens to Martin, basically he tries to get the samples, then but the D Rex kills him, and Zora gets the samples. And so Duncan tries to draw the D Rex away. He's somehow able to live, in order to be saved once everyone else gets on the boat. They should have just let him die. That would have been better. But I think they let him live because Marshal Lee actually knows how to act, so they probably want more movies with him. That's what I think. Because he is a good actor. He knows how to act. He actually does the best performance in this movie out of anybody, and it's not even close. But yeah, anyway. So with this, so basically everyone, outside of everyone that dies in the 40 when they by the time they get to the island, and of course the main human villain, no one really dies. Most characters live. But yeah, I was not a fan. You know, I I thought it sucked. The pacing's terrible. The pacing's is terrible. The acting is mostly terrible. Marshall Lee's the only good acting performance. Everyone else, their acting was pretty bad in my opinion. And then let's see, now they used the Jurassic Park score, which I did like. They made some arrangements of it. I was fine with that. I was fine with the music. I like the Jurassic Park music. And then basically in this, yeah, I mean, they're none of these characters were likable as characters. And they basically were having two different plots going. So they should have chosen between Mercs being hired to go to an island, and or between basically you have this family at getting stranded on an island on the island of the dinosaurs. if they had just focused on one, they maybe could have made a decent movie. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Like, because this was bad. Like it also doing all that with like decrease a lot of the runtime because it's over 2 hours. Like so, like not getting rid of some stuff would have helped in the runtime. Yep, this was like a boring movie. Like the amount of time they all spend admiring the Titanosaurus, I'm like, just get the darn sample. That's what you're here for. Like you can admire them later. Just get your sample. I mean, dear gosh. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was not a fan of it. I think it's a bad movie. Honestly, I would say it's the worst Jurassic Park movie. It's worse than Lost World and 3. It's worse than Fallen Kingdom uh and Jurassic Park 3. It's the worst one. Like I mean, none of them are going to compare to the original. That's just a fact. You know, the first Jurassic World's the second best one. This movie might be the worst Jurassic Park movie. It is freaking bad. It is not a good movie. Well, and that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.